there, and welcome to the Big Apple School podcast. My name is Sam.
And my name is Michael.
And today we're asking what's the crack about the Trans-Siberian Railway. So we're going to find out what the heck that is. We're going to define that for you a little bit. Why is it important to tourists? Because it is. How long it takes to travel. I'm going to quiz Michael a little bit about that. When and where we've traveled on it, or if we've traveled on it, you're going to find out our experiences. What our expectations were and were they met, our impressions of the staff, what we thought of the cabin, the people there, etc. What we ate, what we did, and did everything go according to our plan? And what would we do differently if we were going again? So something to say about all of those things. What places we can't reach by railway.
Sure.
We'll talk about that. So some other places we visited which maybe not just as accessible, and others which we can visit by train, because there's more than just the Trans-Siberian Railway. There's another blah, 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 blah. It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Sure.
So we'll talk all about those good stuff, and I hope you enjoy it listening at home or wherever you are. Okay, Michael.
Yep, I'm ready.
Are you good to go?
I'm very good to go.
Sitting hot?
Yeah, well.
Poised and ready?
I'm just laid back and ready to kick on.
So what the heck is the Trans-Siberian Railway? Can you explain to me?
Yeah, well, in my own words, it's the Trans-Siberian Railway. It's one of the longest in the whole world, and it connects Europe to Asian part of the world. And I think that's why it's called the Trans-Siberian Railway.
Yeah, going across Siberia. And well, I think there's some confusion with people who aren't Russian about what Siberia is. Because, I mean, the Russian Far East.
Yep.
Well, Google it if you're not Russian and you're not sure. Google the Russian Far East and Google Siberia and look at the actual places, because they're not. Generally, we think of everything in the Asian part of Russia. Generally, people think that's Siberia, but if not that.
It's not that. Yeah, there's still farther. Places farther.
So we are in Siberia now, in Novosibirsk. But if you go far east, it's not really Siberia.
Yeah, definitely.
But many people regard it so. But you can go from St. Petersburg. You can go from Moscow.
Yeah. Oh, really? Not from St. Petersburg? I thought the road is from St. Petersburg.
That's not part of the Trans-Siberian.
Ah, really?
But you can go from Moscow the whole way to Vladivostok.
Yeah.
It's pretty much on the doorstep of Japan.
Yeah.
And you can go there by train.
Sure. Actually, is on this road is especially on list of a lot of people things to do.
Yeah.
List of a lot of people.
So that's what we were thinking. Why is it important? But why is it important to tourists? Why do they want to do it?
Yeah, I mean,
the bucket list or something.
Yeah. I think it's quite interesting. Okay, well, the road itself speaks for itself. You know, you're gonna spend like almost a week in a train. Yeah, it's something unique. Yeah. So then, talking about being in a train, what happens to you and all that. So it's a time where you can slow your life down. You're practically living on metal wheels, Yeah. So that sense, that feeling of being in this wagon and coaches all 6 days or 7 days. I think
I'm going to quiz you on that.
I think the feeling is what makes it really special. And of course the views, from the window. If hopefully you're not traveling in the winter.
Or maybe you want to see winter,
You just want to see lots of snow, lots and lots of snow.
I think it's got a reputation of being something adventurous.
Yep.
As well, whether it is or not. I mean, we'll talk about that later.
I think the adventure is just enduring 6
that
days
of
of not being able to move around and stuff.
If you come from an island, the island of Ireland, I mean, I can travel from north to south in about 7-8 hours. By car, right? So, I mean, the idea of being for a long time, traveling, is quite an adventure to me.
Yep,
You know, it's the idea. And of course, you don't necessarily have to just start in Moscow.
Yeah.
You could go on a train from
Simple,
somewhere in Europe.
From
you could
Germany,
go maybe you could go from another even Western European country. And travel the whole way to Moscow, and then you can travel.
Sure.
I mean, you can travel across a couple of different continents. So it could be a real adventure.
That is the adventure. Yeah.
And you don't know what to expect, especially if you're. I mean, as I said, people don't really know Russia so well.
Sure.
If they're not born here, if they haven't lived here, so there's that sense of unknown as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll get down into it. And there are a few nice places like Lake Baikal.
Exactly.
I mean, great nature.
Sure.
And of course, lots of cities along the way as well.
Very historical places.
But cities are bad. Right?
Yeah.
We talked about cities.
Yeah, but you have to go through them, you know.
So I'm going to quiz you.
All right.
How long does it take to get from one end to the other?
If we're talking about from Moscow to Vladivostok, I think it takes like 6 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'm not a good quiz master.
Yeah.
I am assuming, and I believe I'm right in saying, from memory, right?
Yeah, 7
that
days.
it's 7 days.
Oh, really? I missed it.
You're going forward in time.
Yeah.
And I think it's 7 days. I hope I'm right in saying that.
I hope it's not because of the time difference. Yeah, because they've got time difference.
8 days. So it's 7 one direction and it's 8 the other direction.
Oh, I see. I mean, why do you have to go back the other direction by train?
Yeah, I mean, you have that choice, of course. You've had the experience. You don't necessarily have to go back by train.
Yeah, it's better to fly back. Yeah, it's going to be so hard, I guess.
There are planes. You're not stuck.
Sure.
So okay, you passed the test. You didn't do too badly.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dream for me. I want to do that in the next 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see the appeal of it.
Yeah. I want to do that.
Does your wife agree? Your wife's Russian, right?
I've done the south last year. I went as far as Crimea. Yeah, I went as far as Crimea last year. So went Crimea, Sochi, everywhere, and came back to Novosibirsk. I want to complete the circle. Yeah, so I want to go. I want to go to Far East. But initially, I was thinking about going from here. Mm-hmm. But now I thought, why not make history? You know, why not do this trip everybody want to do? You know, from Moscow to Vladivostok. So I think it's going to be from Moscow to Vladivostok, and hopefully.
Which is you're kind of answering my next question, but I'll talk about it too.
Sure.
It's like, have you traveled on the railway line? When and where? And so I guess you've been on the Trans-Siberian as far as somewhere in eastern Russia, and then you went. Did you go the whole way to Moscow?
Yeah. I've been to Moscow several times.
So you went from Novosibirsk to Moscow.
Yeah.
So you traveled a good bit of it.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but a good bit of it.
Yeah.
And then you can get a train from Moscow to pretty much anywhere, right?
Sure. I don't even have to do the Moscow-Novosibirsk one again because I've done it several times. So I can just go from here to Far East.
You could argue. I think that's a technicality. I don't agree. I think Guinness Book of Records would not allow such things.
We're not giving us a for that, yeah.
Although it's been
done
already.
So I should do it once as a straight train.
So I'll tell you about my experience.
Yeah.
Back in 2011,
all right,
I decided I wanted to see more of Russia. I was really quite interested in learning more about Russia and the culture and the cities.
Yeah.
And seeing as much as possible. And I thought, how can I do that?
Yeah.
I wasn't living in Russia.
Sure.
And I thought, hey, why don't I go by train?
Yeah.
Travel and visit some cities.
That is what I thought too at first.
And that's what I did. Now it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But I managed to scrape the money together and do that. And I started in St. Petersburg.
Wow, that's wonderful. I've never been there before.
And I stayed there for a few days.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of an impression. I'd like to go back and see more of it, but I got a little bit of an impression. And then I went by fast train, not the most modern one, but it was quite. 2011, it was fast. I think it was 4 hours, but now it's even quicker.
Yeah.
And I went then to Moscow, and that was great. And then I got off. I spent a little bit of time in Moscow, and then went for my train the whole way to Vladivostok. Yeah.
So you've done it already.
I've done it.
Oh my goodness.
What else is there?
Congratulations.
What else is there to life? I can just lie down now and rest.
Yeah, definitely.
Rest my weary bones.
Absolutely.
I've achieved it all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I'm just on the halfway. That's wonderful. I mean, I didn't even know. So what tips would you give for...
we'll come to that. Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
I'm trying to, sure. Because I just want to get
It's a fine wine here we're developing, right? So, I went on this train, and I'm not going to go into too much yet because we'll get to that. But I'll tell you where I went, where I stopped.
I say, stops,
So I went the whole way through. I didn't stop in Novosibirsk the way I now live there.
Yeah. Because you knew you were gonna leave here, so there was no point.
I don't know why I didn't, but I chose not to, and I went to.
You didn't stop in the capital city of Siberia. That's a crime.
The more you stop, the more expensive it is. So you have to, think of that because you've got hotels. You have to get the train again.
Yeah.
And so it can be, the more you stop, the more complicated it could get. So,
right about it.
So I went the whole way from Moscow until I got to Irkutsk.
I see.
And I decided I wanted to visit Irkutsk a little bit, see that. So it's not a big city.
Yeah. I mean,
and then I went
nearby Baikal. So
the main reason was there is Lake Baikal.
Yeah.
And it's that most beautiful, I think the biggest freshwater lake in the world.
Yeah. The deepest.
Freshwater, the deepest.
Yeah.
It's got 20-25% of the world's fresh water just in one place.
In one place.
And it's got some unique wildlife and some beautiful views.
Yep.
And so I thought, let's visit that. I'm game.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was alone.
Oh, wow. That's a real adventure.
I am an adventurer, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's a real adventure because you didn't speak Russian then, no?
I didn't speak so well. I knew some words and phrases, so it was a challenge. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Sure.
I went to a place called Lisvanyanka.
Okay.
And I found out later that there are other places that the locals would recommend more.
Sure.
But for tourists, they tend to say Lisvanyanka. But if you really want to get a better view and more of an experience, there are other places that locals will tell you that's far better.
Yeah.
But I just Lisvanyanka.
Okay with
and from there I stayed in a hotel, and I remember it was rained a lot, and but anyway, it didn't stop me
from exploring,
seeing the lake, and I didn't go out on it, but I enjoyed the views and the nature and stuff. And then I met actually 2 Australian Russians.
Oh, I see.
Well, and they were born and grew up in Australia. But their grandparents were Russian. Yeah. And so I met these 2 guys. Of course, they spoke English. They're Australian.
Sure.
And we met and we traveled a wee bit back to Irkutsk and spent a little bit of time. I met a few friends who were Russian, students who kind of supported me a little bit, spoke some English with me.
Yeah, sure. So to keep me company, definitely.
Then I went to a place called Ulan-Ude.
Ulan-Ude, yeah, sure.
Which is famous for
having... I think it's the capital city of Irkutsk, no?
It's the I think it's the capital of Buryatia.
Oh, Buryatia.
Forgive me if I've made a mistake in that. Which Buryat people are Russian, but they also have a kind of...
They have their republic or something like that.
And they have a kind of unique heritage. They're not European Russian. They're more... I want to say they're connected with Mongolian. Mongolian heritage.
Sure.
If I'm mistaken, please forgive me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just kind of like speculation.
It's famous for having the biggest Lenin head in the world.
I see.
There's this huge statue or monument to Lenin, and it's just his head.
Wow.
And it's huge.
Oh, I see.
And I got a picture.
I never knew that.
I think I asked someone to take the picture for me, I guess, because I wasn't into selfies.
Sure.
So I must have got someone to take a picture.
All right.
I think I have a picture beside it.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And then the final place I went to was Vladivostok.
Wow.
Which I was quite impressed with. It's beside the sea, which is great for me.
Sure.
I'm born on an island.
Sure.
And used to being near the sea. And I went out to Ruski Island.
Wow.
On a boat, on a little ferry, and I enjoyed Not so much the island, but I enjoyed the ferry.
I get
The
it.
journey on the ferry. It was really nice.
Yeah.
So that was my
adventure.
That was back in 2011. So that was my Trans-Siberian
Sure. Experience.
That was my experience. So, well, what were our impressions? So, well, come back to you. What did you think? You traveled from Novosibirsk to Moscow.
Yeah, several
what were your
times, not just once.
Several
yeah.
times, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it a lot. Like, from the beginning, I told you about this aspect of, a time to slow yourself down and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in the train, mostly I just eat, pee, sleep, and read probably. That was all. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And you like that?
Yeah, once or twice probably I got talking to people, but really I'm just relaxing. Yeah. Just
You're there with your family?
Yeah, once we traveled with my family together.
Right.
Last year actually so the road was from Novosibirsk to Moscow by train.
Yeah.
Then from Moscow we went on a road trip. Yeah, around the place I told you about, Rostov and Crimea. Yeah.
I know that place.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. So it was
I lived there once.
Wow, that's pretty nice. So it was Voronezh before Rostov, then Krasnodar, then Crimea. Then on our way back, we went through Napa, Novorossiysk, Gelendzhik, then...
Now you're just trying to impress me. Dropping names.
Oh, come on. Yeah, when you were talking about going through Trans-Siberia, I was just listening to you, I was like, wow, I need to do that too, Yeah.
Okay.
So we all got... so we went the opposite way.
Yeah.
The opposite way. You went that way, I went that way.
Well, I mean, I've never been that direction. Maybe it's different.
Sure,
Maybe it's really strange.
No, it's really different. Yeah, because it's near the Black Sea.
Yeah.
So we were touring the places near Black Sea.
Yeah.
We went to a very interesting city. After Sochi, we went to Pyatigorsk. It's a very, very interesting place because it's the highest mountain in Russia is situated there.
Oh,
Elbrus, yeah.
So I've heard of it.
Yeah, Elbrus is situated there.
Is it the highest in Europe as well?
I'm not so sure, really.
Don't
but
know.
let me not speculate.
It's
in
famous.
Russia, it is the highest. Yeah, sure.
These people have Google.
Yeah.
We're not operating in Google at the moment.
Sure.
Podcasts are free from Google.
Yeah.
So forgive us. I have sometimes made a mistake, by the way, because I remember talking about Mars.
You got a comment from...
I talked about Mars. No, but I remembered afterwards that, that's not right.
Yeah.
Because I once talked about Mars.
I see.
And I thought that, at the time, they're the same gravity as Earth.
I see.
And I don't know why. It's got about three times less the gravity of Earth. So I made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, that makes us humans,
I am human, I promise. Yeah.
I'm only human.
Were your expectations met? I mean, what did you expect?
Yeah, my expectation was met. I met people. I had a unique experience because before I came to Russia, I had never traveled by train before. Yeah, before I came here.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was the first time, and it was the second or the third day I flew into Russia. I took a train. Yeah, so it was
in.
Yeah, so it was really strange. It was really unique, but it was in winter, so I saw all the snow. Yeah, because the idea at first was like, I can just go via the train, and in like 3 days I'm going to see half of Russia. Cool, I really want that. But
you just kind of seen
it was a kind of mistake. Yeah, I saw all the snow. Yeah, my first experience, but. All the time already I started feeling and I knew the advantages of, going by train. Safety, calm, you save some money, cheaper if you go in just a direction, And
not sure if it's as cheap now, but it was,
I mean, if you're going, if you compare to going to Moscow, then it's cheap.
It is cheap.
It depends actually. They're low coster right now to Moscow. Like Pobeda and the rest of them, which could be really, very, very cheap. Probably cheaper than a train. But the disadvantage is you can't carry things more than. I mean, you need to pay for extra kilograms and stuff like that.
Depends what you want to bring with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I thought it would be a grand adventure.
No, sir.
And more like what you're talking about. It was more like a relaxed kind of, not trapped, but you were left in a situation where you're kind of a limbo.
Exactly.
Where you don't have a lot to do.
Yep.
You don't have a huge amount of options. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But that's not what I expected. And so my expectations weren't really met. As far as landscape, often, I mean, such a huge country, often the landscape is flat.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really expecting, I don't know what I expected, but I wasn't expecting that.
You were expecting something magical somehow.
A little bit. I mean, there are beautiful places along the way, but you have to remember that to make the places beautiful, there are also places which are just ordinary.
Yep.
And so some are so huge, there are a lot of ordinary places too.
Yeah.
To contrast it. So I kind of forgot about it. I mean, you come from Scotland or Northern Ireland or England or wherever.
Sure. Yeah.
You're used to green rolling hills and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't think that, well, the whole world isn't covered in hills, right?
Yeah.
So I think maybe I had the wrong expectation, but I learned anyway. It was an experience.
I mean, for me, my expectation was met. Once or twice, I got talking to people.
Yeah.
So it drew me closer. Like the first time when I was coming from Moscow to Novosibirsk, I met a friend with a kid.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He almost couldn't speak then.
Yeah.
He was so little. We started playing because I love children a lot. We started playing with him. Then the mother wanted to feed him, and he said, "No, mommy, I'm not gonna leave this cabin. You need to come." So the mom had to come to my cabin to feed him. That's how we got talking with the mom. And how did we do that? We only used gestures and drawing and all that because she couldn't say anything in English. I couldn't say anything in Russian.
It could be tricky,
Yeah, but we talked, we joked, we had a good time. We played some games. I had some table games with me.
Yeah.
So we played some table games and all that. So I mean, my first trip gave me it drew me closer to Russia and Russian,
And Russian people.
Before I got to Novosibirsk, in the 3 days, I could count till 9. I knew a lot of stuff like car houses and stuff like that. They taught me how to say that. So I mean, I learned as well. So I think that was what I was looking for. This cultural mix and all that. So my expectation was that,
So as for me, I mean, I made some friends.
Yeah, sure.
I was quite shy, and still am. I mean, not shy, but shy is the wrong word, but just not outgoing.
Yeah. Not so outgoing.
So I'm more of an introvert and more less outgoing.
Yeah.
But I did get to know a few people along the way, whether I liked it or not.
You have no choice.
But it was overall. I was glad that I got to know people, and got to know a few different people, and kept in touch for a while. But it was a long time ago. And if you never meet again, it's tricky to continue. But,
exactly.
But we did.
Almost no point.
Yeah, I intended to just sit and read.
Yeah.
And maybe, take in the adventure of it. You stop, and maybe at times it stops, and then you can buy noodles.
Yeah. That's the food on the train. Yeah.
Noodles are train food.
Sure.
You can get noodles and other snacks and stuff too.
Yeah. Mashed potato.
Yeah.
You just pour water inside. It's like a powder. You pour water inside, then you.
We call it smash.
It's for sure. I get it.
Brand name.
Sure.
But the idea on the train is that there's a samovar, or what would it be called?
Yeah, I don't know, like a kettle or something like that.
Kind of like a big
kettle,
water boiler.
Yeah.
Kind of kettle idea, and you buy your own pot noodle, or you get whatever mashed potato dried, and you have free access to this hot water, and you do what you want. So I mean, you can get your tea and your coffee and everything.
Sure.
But that's the only thing that you're really provided with. So you bring your own food.
Yep.
But you can buy it at some stops whenever the train stops.
And we do have a buffet in the train, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
Let me tell you my experience. The first time when I was coming to Novosibirsk, it was really very strange. Right now, now it's like kind of mystery. Mm-hmm. Why did the guy who put me on the train, saw me off to the train station, railway station, and bought a ticket for me? Why didn't he get some food for me? Mm-hmm. I had almost nothing with me when I went on the train. He just told me, Michael, he said, This is the buffet. You can go there, eat, and whatever you want and stuff. 24 hours open.
Okay.
All like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, sure.
I never bought in the buffet.
And it was a big scandal when I went there and told them, guys, I want to eat rice. You just think everybody understands English.
Oh, it wasn't like...
It was really very tough. It took a couple of minutes before.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me.
You have a different color skin to me.
Yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
And when you come to Russia, and even now, you're walking around the street, people know you're not Russian.
Yeah, definitely.
They look at me.
It's obvious, yeah.
They look at me, it's not immediately obvious, right?
Yeah.
How do people treat you when they first meet you?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Do they talk to you in English straight away?
In Siberia, being black, it's not really very common. So people pay attention to you.
Yeah.
If you leave the shore of Siberia, then people really don't pay attention to you much because there are a lot of blacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, people pay attention, and the reaction could be somehow personal. There's nothing, So some people are really very shy. Some people are really very excited. People try to say any English word they know to you and stuff. So
because people would stop me and say, "Извините, подскажите, пожалуйста." They want to know directions.
Direction,
And sometimes I can help, and sometimes I can't. But they don't assume that I'm not Russian, right? Whereas they can't assume you're Russian.
There've been cases where I had to come in actually. Somebody want to ask me something, they just look at me and say, he's a foreigner. So they decided to ask another Russian.
Yeah.
But the mistake they make is like they don't know that I really know the city very, very well. So they asked the other guy, and the guy was like, and I said, okay, well, let me tell you, you need to go like this and this, that. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, sure, I would have known.
They get a bit of a shock.
Yeah, sure, they get a shock. Yeah, definitely.
So I guess there are advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, there are advantages and disadvantages. But I mean, I for myself, I don't see all these things any longer because I've been here for a long time. So I don't see it. Yeah, really. I don't see it. And it's not a problem at all. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Did everything go according to plan on your journey?
Yeah, I mean, going by the train, everything was smooth. Last year we went there. We got to Moscow just at the time we planned to get there.
Yeah.
The subway were open then, so we got there, took the subway straight, and got to a hotel. So everything went as planned. Yeah.
And for me, didn't miss my train. It's hard for things not to go to plan as far as I think the train always gets there pretty much on time.
Yeah. Very organized.
It might go slowly.
Sure.
Slowly than you expect, but it pretty much gets there on time. Just that I wasn't. My expectations were different.
Well, definitely. Yeah, I think you were expecting that at one point the plane is going to be flying in the sky or stuff like that.
What would you do different if you did it again, or when you do it again? For you?
Yeah. I mean, I just told you in 2 years. In 2 years' time, I think I'll complete the circle. Going to the Far East.
Of life.
Yeah, the circle. Yeah. Elton.
I guess. Or is it? I'm not sure.
Circle.
I'm not sure that's
I think it's
Elton.
Elton John. Yeah,
Are you sure?
Really?
I don't know.
Oh well, I mean,
it's Lion King. It's Lion King. I would probably bring a couple more books, maybe. But I think, I mean, not to say you shouldn't read books.
No.
I would probably bring. You said you had brought like a board game.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea because you can socialize.
Yep.
You can. That can facilitate socializing. So I think that's important because listen, if you're trapped. I use that in inverted commas.
Sure.
You're on a train, not trapped, but you're on a train for 7 days. It's better to socialize.
Yep.
Even if you are not a sociable person, if you're not generally outgoing like me, socialize.
Yeah.
Because I found that initially I kind of resisted that.
Yep.
And when I did start to socialize, time went quicker.
Yep.
It was more interesting. I learned about culture.
You learned something.
Learned about the language. You get to meet people. people are stuck there too.
Yep.
And you'll find they're friendly to you, and you can find someone to talk with and to socialize.
It's really, really very important, And it's going to be nice to bring something local to you, something probably Russians have not played before, some card games and stuff like that.
They'll enjoy your culture.
Yeah, they're going to...
Even if the language barrier's there, they'll still enjoy your culture.
It's okay, yeah, sure. You can explain, you can, do or make some gestures, and everything will be fine in explaining how to play the game.
Have you ever been anywhere where you can't reach by rail? Somewhere different in Russia?
A place you can't reach by rail? No, I think practically everywhere I've been to, you can get there by rail. Probably Pyatigorsk.
Pyatigorsk, you can't get to,
I'm not sure.
How did you go, by bus?
No. We went by car. Yeah, we went on a road trip. Yeah, we went on a road trip. I think Pyatigorsk doesn't have a railway that connects to other parts of the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've been... now it's getting a railway line or has got a railway line, but...
Where?
I was in...
Yeah, I'm so curious. Yeah, definitely.
Yakutsk.
Okay.
It's quite northern part of... quite northerly place.
Very cold place, actually, winter.
I was there late autumn, but I was there. Now I think they're building a railway line, but at the time I was there, and I spent like 12, 13 days there, which is quite long because there's not a lot to do. I mostly spent my time in museums and stuff. There are some interesting scientific museums there, like related to permafrost and mammoths.
Yeah.
There's a diamond. It's an important place for diamonds. And I visited a village called Tektur. I think it was Tektur. And I think there are a lot of Tekturs in Yakutsk. But I went to this village with, I think, 800 people.
Wow.
And I was like one of only maybe 2 or 3 like genuine English speakers.
Yeah, sure.
And I kind of visited the school, and they were all like, wow.
Wow, wow. We're going to listen to English the way it's really spoken.
It was so peaceful.
Yeah.
So peaceful. I liked it more than Yakutsk city, although it was fine. It wasn't a place to stay too long, but then I probably wouldn't have wanted to stay too long in the village. But that was interesting.
Wow.
I went there in a different year, 2010.
Sure.
And that was interesting. I've also been by rail though. I went to Sochi.
Okay, I get it.
When I lived in Rostov-on-Don.
Wow, that's cool.
So I've done, and I was I think by bus went to Taganrog.
Okay.
Which is like Black Sea and stuff.
Yeah, it's near Krasnodar, I think. Yeah.
And somewhere all in that region.
Sure.
And so I've traveled a bit.
Yeah, you've seen almost the whole Russia.
More than a lot of Russians.
Yeah.
I can be grateful for that.
Yeah, you can hold your...
Sochi was nice.
Sure.
It was during the Paralympics.
Oh, I get it.
Was that 2014 or 2013?
13 probably.
2013 was it?
I'm not so sure.
They'll know. They have Google.
Yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. I went with friends. We also went by train.
That's right.
Well, initially when I went on Trans-Siberian, it was a four bunk beds.
Yeah.
Or I think it's called a coupe.
Yeah, that one.
But with friends, it was more of an open cabin.
Open cabin.
So it was a little bit cheaper.
Sure.
And well, with friends, that was okay. Because you didn't have to worry about sleeping underneath a stranger and maybe they'd not comfortable. So it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was an interesting experience too.
Yeah, that's so special.
And it was better with friends.
Yeah, of course, sure.
But be sociable is my advice.
Yeah, you have to be sociable. And get enough things for yourself.
So would we recommend it? Well, I'm saying yes. I would recommend it, but be sociable. Be prepared to be sociable. Yeah. Bring a book if you want, but don't depend on it to be doing something, just reading all the time. Yeah. I think a board game or two, and that can get you introduced to people. Cards maybe, or whatever.
Music.
And show photos. People love to see photos. It can break barriers with language.
Try to be yourself when you're talking to new people. Whatever you say.
Unless you can be Batman.
Whatever you say that's very genuine about you or where you come from is really, really very appreciated.
Yeah. So enjoy it. Yeah. Whether you're Russian or otherwise, enjoy it. I mean, don't expect it to be full of excitement, but expect it to be a chilling out session.
It's a time to
socializing,
to relax, to you know, to be in this metal box, you know, for a couple of days. Yeah.
Or 7 or 8.
There's the feeling you need to catch, when you are in there. So just wait and keep hoping to catch the feeling. Yeah.
Can't catch the feeling.
Yeah.
Is there a song about that? Yeah.
Of course, sure.
So that was the crack about the Trans-Siberian Railway. So we talked about what it is, where kind of a little bit about where it is, but you can Google how long it takes, our experiences in it, what we thought of it, kind of expectations and reality, and did it go according to plan? Anywhere else we've been, a couple of different places, traveling by train or otherwise. And would we recommend it? And we've done all that, guys. And that was the crack about the Trans-Siberian Railway.